Welcome back to our not our Adobe training, but our document training. What I want to walk you through is how to access your forms to send them out for distribution. Um, so basically, what you'll do, you'll go to Google, right? And in the box, you'll type in Adobe Creative Cloud login. Okay. Once you're in there, it will ask you for your username and password. Your username is generally going to be your email address, and it will help you set up a password. If you do not have one, most definitely send send me a request or whatever. Or for most office staff, we automatically have it on the computer. We just don't have a login, but either way, this is just one way to sign documents and send them out in which you can track them. So I'm going to click in the right column and I'm going to go to my document cloud because I've already saved my documents that I feel will be mostly used. So I'm going to click here. Okay, so now we're in the document cloud for Adobe Sign. If you notice, I've prearranged for different digital documents to be in here to use for illustrative as well as functional purposes. So let's look at our options. We can upload a file if we want to sign. We can create a PDF. We can combine. We can compress, and this is if you're emailing something out. You need to compress the size. You can send for review if you need to get an approval for whatever documentation that you have. If you have a document that you've created and you want to send for signature, if someone else, so that's send for signature, if someone else has sent you a document or any document that you find on your computer, you can do fill and sign. And of course, you can always do a create sign template. Okay. So that's in our home where we have our files. These are our files. So we have the intake, we have the for Alliance. If you notice, and by this time I've already shared with you my Google Drive in which you have access to all of these forms. The difference is it just depends on the computer that one is working on. This right here, if you have any computer with Adobe Acrobat Pro or whatever, or the full version of Adobe Acrobat, you can use this. This version um, is set up to allow anyone with the free version of Adobe Reader, which if you take in the previous version of this course, you'll see that you can download it and you can actually use it to sign, fill out any forms, and submit it back automatically. So those are the forms that we have. Yeah, so yeah, we have the referral form, everything else. And the purpose of this is just to automate the document flow process in which it's seamless and it's less strenuous on everyone involved. So let's go back to home. No, I'm sorry. Let's go back to for signature. So down here, really quick, if you have something you want to share with different people in the agency to view, it'll show you anytime someone's viewed it. You know what I'm saying? If you have something you send out for review, you'll see that. Like for instance, I click for signature and it allows you to track every signed agreement, and you also can set automatic reminders. So if there's a form you filled out, whether it's supervision, whether it's intake, whatever, and one particular person hasn't signed it. Like, for instance, we have the intensive in-home supervision template, and it shows 2 out of 3 people completed it. I'm not going to go into that because that's actual form that we've used. You'll see that, but the third person doesn't have to approve it. They can just say, hey, this, and this needs to be fixed, which was the case in that particular form. Okay? So you can really use this for any document, and the signatures are legally binding. It's HIPAA compliant, and it's just the best thing since sliced bread. So let's go into a sign template. And just in case you forgot, the sign templates right here. So you can just download a document or upload a document to your cloud, right? And say, for instance, you need a client to sign, an employee to sign, anything. You would just click on that. That will be covered in another video. But to save time and to minimize the time of each video, we're going to go with the sign templates I've already created. Okay? With that being stated, we're going to go into initial supervision. Let's try that. So when you click on this form, and by the way, any of the forms from my Google Drive folder, you can download and save it to your cloud so that you can use it at your discretion at any time. You can even schedule your forms to go out, like supervisions and everything, if you're particularly anal like me. So I'm going to click on initial supervision. I'm going to use template. And so I'm going to send it to myself so that I'm not bothering anybody at this ungodly hour of the night. So let's look at this part. So say, for instance, if automatically, you wanted to go to your supervisee and then your supervisor, you can do that. You just type in, each person's email. Then you can do password protect if you want, if it's confidential information. You could do set a reminder. I'm going to set a reminder every business day or every other. Okay? Great. Now, this particular part is really, really important because you want to make sure that anything that you want a person to fill out is there. Now, for the updated supervision contracts, we have this where we've integrated the training plan and the supervision all at once. So you can know what trainings your fellows, what your supervisee needs and everything else. You can put the frequency. If you notice, each box, right, has a particular color. If you double click on that color, right, it assigns it to anyone. So save time. I'm just going to leave that like that because I know the first person is going to go to is the supervisor and then the supervisee. So that part is done. The other cool part about this function is whatever in the drop down I click, the corresponding job expectation is going to update, so you don't have to worry about that. This is the part that is the most important. Where you see any signature lines, you want to make sure that it's appropriately selected. So you'll just double click it. As you saw, I used my email address as the first one, and then and then we would double click it. Oh, I should have used 2 email addresses. Well, let's make it not required. But you will put the other email address there, okay? And you just look over everything. Now, say for instance you want someone else to approve it. You can put transaction field where a participation stamp is required before the document is completed, in which you would take this there And as with everything else, you would double click it, and then the third person's email would drop down, and you would click there. So after that, you will click send, and it will let you know that your document has been sent for signature. It takes the what if out of the paperwork. It puts so much convenience in place with this, because literally a person can get this form on their phone and sign it and get it back to you, and then even after you review it, or no, like literally it will go up the chain of whoever else needs to approve it. In most cases, the supervision goes to QAQI, and then they're able to approve it, and ultimately it's ready for filing. Or if there are changes, then it goes back to the supervisor. But it's a lot better than chasing a person down, looking for a signature, so on and so forth. So that is the part of the training that we're covering. Basically, sending a document out for signature, specifically the supervision agreement. Thank you. Stay tuned.